Hi, welcome to my video. I thought I'd do a very quick video about myself just to really answer who is Rob Murray. I'm half Scottish from my dad's side, and my grandparents were from a little fishing village called Hopeman in Scotland. I was born in Hammersmith in London but moved very quickly to Calpain in Portsmouth, to this place here. This is my first home with my parents, and this is my brother and sister here. This is my younger sister Catherine and my older brother, and that's me as a young baby in 1974. My parents here, very hard to see, but this is them watching me play football in Tottenham Hotspur, at the very beginning of my football career. My dad there, and I remember this photo very well. This was Butlins way back. I must have been 10 or 11 there, and I had a pair of studded jeans, and the amount of times I fell over, I remember the next day the bruises on the back of my bum were horrendous. I had a very good upbringing. We holidayed at least once a year, very high standards. My dad was very strict, and we were very high disciplinarian, and as you can probably see from these pictures, I was very active from an early ages. Us swinging on a rope swing on a holiday, young early football career. I seem to have footballs or balls or some kind of sporting paraphernalia with me in a lot of my younger pictures, of me canoeing, playing basketball in Spain, and this is me courting a young lady at I think it was about my 14th birthday, or maybe younger. I don't remember. I remember that jumper. That was a complete rascal of a jumper. My schooling years were great. I really enjoyed school. I wasn't a huge studier, but this is the first school trip I went on, which was a Bulgarian skiing trip. You see me here again with another really bad jumper. It must have just been the fashion back then, and thoroughly enjoyed that. And any kind of activities that went on in school, any kind of sports, I was part of the basketball team, the football team, you name it, I was involved in it, and thoroughly enjoyed that side of the school. Again, I was into amateur dramatics when I was young. Yes, this is me. Luckily, I was surrounded by lots of attractive girls, which is probably one of the reasons I enjoyed drama. And I was King Rat here, and looks like I think this was me just on the dry ski slope before we went to Bulgaria, and again an early football picture. Just going back a little bit, I joined the Cub Scouts probably when I was 10, which was really good for me. I think it sort of set the basics and helped me to adapt and to learn from an early age, and I was fortunate then to be part of my Cub school football team, which really sort of started my hunger for football. And I was lucky because we were the best team in the whole of the South Coast. And as you can see here, down in this little corner, this is the start of my trophy cabinet at a very early age, and we won everything that we entered, really. From there I progressed and played for local teams, and I was very fortunate enough to be selected to play for the Portsmouth schools, where I then moved on and played for Hampshire schools. So it was a very proud moment for me to be selected. And I'm just looking, this is me here on the far corner, and up here, this is me here with a really rotten jacket. I must blame my parents for that. You know, the dress sense back then wasn't that great. And it was brilliant because this allowed me to travel abroad. This is us in Amsterdam, and we played in a tournament in Germany as well. And as you can see, the trophy cabinet is already starting to really build. From there, I was very fortunate to be selected to play for Bournemouth as an apprentice in 1990, and it was a dream of mine. I'd actually already been booked in to go to college to do a course on architecture, but as soon as I got an offer to play for Bournemouth, then that was the choice I wanted to take. This is me here, looking very young at 15, probably just turned 16. And I found this in all of my old photos. This is one of my old staff cards we used to use to get in and out of the ground. And this is me signing my very first pro contract with Neil Masters and Neil Moss. And this is Tony Pullis, who was at the time the manager who had taken over from Harry Redknapp. This is the very first youth team picture, and there was a manager, Mike Truston, and some of the good friends, Scott, Stuart, Neil. And this is Nimbus. This was our bus driver. He was the kit man. He was just all round, did everything at the club, old fella. And I actually ended up moving in with him in later years and living in with him and his wife in the digs, and taught his wife how to cook, some great food. So it was very basic. It was meat and potatoes every night, and I taught her how to cook spaghetti, lasagna, and really good times. From 1993-94, I was very lucky to be involved with the first team set up at an early age, and I made my substitute debut away at Blackpool, and I was the youngest player to ever have played in the first team, which was a real privilege. As you see here, this is just me in some of the action shots, and I wish I still had these abs. And I was ripped back then. I think, if I remember rightly, I was about 10.5 stone, and I couldn't put on weight for about 4 years. Obviously, a lot of training, you burn off a lot of your fat and anything like that. And yes, I do have a pair of pants on here. We did enjoy a good lifestyle, did enjoy going out, and I suppose because you burnt everything off, you didn't mind what you ate or what you drank. I was lucky then to be called up to play for Scotland at 17, and this is, you can't probably see it properly, but this is a letter from the Scottish Football Association from Craig Brown inviting me up to a game in Scotland, and this is pictures of me. My mum and dad must have been there taking pictures of me getting off the bus in our Scotland tracksuits, and just a few paper clippings. I've taken these out of my folders. My mum and dad are so thankful. They've collected absolutely everything from when I started playing football up until I finished, and I've got reams and reams of paper clippings and different pictures, and which at the time I probably thought was a waste of time, but I look back at them now and it's just absolutely phenomenal. By the way, we won that game 1-0, and I then was invited to go to the Toulon tournament in France, but unfortunately I was in the first team, as you can see here, under Tony Pulis, and he wouldn't let me go. He says I was too invaluable, but it was a shame because I missed out on a real great opportunity. As you can see here, this is me with one of the young lads who was over at the game, who's probably the mascot for the day, and just some great action shots. And when I look back at them, it seemed to fly by my football career, and I look back now and I've got some great memories. This is a picture in 1997, and as you can see here, this is me and this is my ex-wife Kelly, and there's my young son William. And there was 5, as you can see on here, there was 5 players within the same week who had children. And this is on the back of our local paper, the Daily Echo, and it was Russell Beardsmore, Beardo, Steve Fletcher, Frank Rowlands, French guy Frank, and Ian Cox, who for some reason wasn't available for the picture that day. And here he is, my little boy, William. He was a cute little thing. He's always been trouble, but it was great for me. It helped me grow up very quickly, and it really sort of made me understand why my dad was so strict, and probably a lot of things that I didn't understand before. From there, in 1998, I then took an opportunity to go to America and to play in the American US League, and I went to play for the Richmond Kickers, and it was just a great experience. I moved out to Richmond and stayed in some digs with some guys, left my family here to go out and make all the arrangements. We then won our league that year, and I did have everything set up to go and play in Miami through the winter, which would have been awesome, and in Richmond through the summer, so I had all year round sun. And unfortunately, when I got home after the 3 months, my ex-wife decided she didn't want to move to America. So really disappointing, because it was a phenomenal opportunity, and unfortunately very soon after that we parted company. When I got back to England, this was probably one of the lowest times of my life. I actually snapped my ACL, and it was just playing in a game. I turned, felt like someone had kicked me from behind, and this muscle here, the ACL, I obliterated it. There's no explanation why, it just snapped and went. And this was my introduction into, as you can see here, the rat race. So after leaving school having no qualifications, I really didn't know what to do, and unfortunately I was searching for jobs, and Clive Tyrrell, who was a good friend of Harry Redknapp, who was my previous manager, invited me along to join a company called Combined Insurance Company America, and this is one of the events I was at. And I joined them and very quickly progressed through the ranks, and I really, I suppose, wanted to prove that I wasn't just a footballer. So I worked harder than everyone else. I worked from 8 in the morning till 10 at night, and I progressed very quickly, got a promotion and won 2 conventions, which was a great feat at those times. And this is me, and this is one of my old football buddies who I brought into the company, Steve Strong, and he won that convention as well. And this was my old boss, Sharif. And some of these events were awesome. I think we went to Tenerife, Cyprus, and these are some of the guys that then worked for me once I was promoted, collecting their awards, which was very proud moments as well. I worked very hard for 2 years, and to be honest with you, I really got burnt out, and I then decided that I was going to go and travel for a little bit. So I went to the other side of the world, to Australia, and with a friend called Gary, and where is he? He's here. We flew into Cairns, and we travelled down the east coast all the way down to Sydney. And this was our first backpacking hostel, the Calypso in Cairns, and we actually overstayed in Cairns for at least 2 weeks because we met some of these great people here, and it's very hard to move on sometimes. I've put a few pictures of my travels here. I could have put probably 5 or 6 pages because I've got 3 or 4 albums. There's so much that went on, and you can't really explain it in a few pictures. But this was a guy that we met on the first night from Manchester. He was travelling on his own, and we adopted him, and he then, as you can see, he travelled with us to the Whitsundays, to Fraser Island. And a quick little story about Fraser Island: you stay in a hostel overnight, and the following morning they partner you up with different people. You need, on looks of it, 2, 4, 6, 8, about 10 of you to hire this bus, and you get all your camping equipment, you buy your food, and off you go. It's maybe a 20-mile square radius island with beautiful beaches, and you just go and drive where you want. And I was a little bit shrewd, and I started playing pool with this group of 4 girls the night before, and asked them if they'd like to share the bus with the other guys, and we'd met this other couple, so away we went. And I think this is me entering the stripping contest. As you can see, they're all other ladies here, but I won't show you the front, but I had a pair of false boobs on, so just some of the silly things we did in Oz. And this was phenomenal. We jumped out of the plane at 14,000 feet. Probably one of the most amazing experiences I've ever had, and I would like to do it again, and I will do it again. And this is us playing tennis on the hotels, and we did the whitewater rafting, and on the way back we decided just to go all out, and we stayed in the Marriott in Hong Kong, in the 5-star hotel for the last 3 nights, and just finished every little bit of money that we really had. Phenomenal times, and it's something that I'll never forget. Unfortunately, when I got back, this is me doing my couch potato Homer Simpson, I couldn't get out of that holiday mode, waking up when we wanted, doing what we wanted, and it took me quite a while to really get back into things. And I went back into what I knew. I went back and worked for Combined Insurance Company of America, and I really took on their philosophies of PMA, goal setting, etc. And this was the founder of the company, W. Clement Stone, who was a massive founder of Positive Principles, and this is one of his books there. Then in 2005, I had a second child with my then partner Fran, and this is her here, this is Jasmine, and this is my lad then, that he'd grown up quite a bit. And I suppose this was the jolt I needed to really start working again properly. So with Combined, I then worked hard and progressed very, very quickly, and was promoted twice. I was given the opportunity to move 200 miles away up to the West Midlands to run my own area with my own managers, and it was something that I jumped at because it was a progression and it was what we needed. This is me and my family. We bought another house up in Birmingham, and we kept our house in Bournemouth, so as far as I could see it was a progression. And this is my son, my ex Fran, and my little girl Jasmine, and my stepdaughter Abby. And things went really well. I was working hard. Unfortunately, the more I gave, the more they took. The hours got longer, the weekends got less, and I had less time with the children and my partner. Yes, I was earning 100,000 plus a year, but there was no time to spend it, and the stress on my relationship was immense. And unfortunately, after having my little girl, my partner had postnatal depression, which, with all these things combined, being in a different area as well, the relationship broke down. So I I made the decision to move back to Bournemouth, and I moved back to Bournemouth and I looked into different sales jobs. I worked in selling beds for a company called Craftmatic. I worked selling solar power. I worked selling charity magazines. I did selling phones. But you know what? Nothing fitted me and nothing was right. And I was then very lucky in 2007 to be invited. I've been on the mailing list of this guy here, Andrew Reynolds, for quite some time. And I was invited to the Entrepreneurs Bootcamp, and it happened to be, as you see, this is my ticket, which I kept because I sort of felt it was quite a momentous time. It was in Bournemouth, so I didn't have to go far. It was a 4-day event, and there was such speakers like Bob Proctor. And this was the first time that I was introduced to The Secret, and this event was immense. There were some top speakers there, and it really opened my eyes up to what was available out there on the internet. And it was the first time I really started to look at it. Now, I didn't take The Secret on board very quickly there, because Bob Proctor was selling a program with this, and when I look back at my notes now, it talks about The Secret, but obviously where it was the big program that he was selling, I didn't have the money at that time to buy into that. Then the next momentous thing for me really was, I went to Las Vegas to a bodybuilding exhibition. I'd set my own company online selling supplements, and we went to the Vegas, Mr. Olympia, and I met this beautiful lady here from America called Lily, and she actually introduced me again to The Secret, and it did ring a bell, and she actually bought me a book whilst I was in Las Vegas, which I really couldn't put down, and it sort of really opened my eyes up to what was available out there. And then I actually found W. Clement Stone was quoted in the book, so I knew that the philosophies that I'd learnt in the insurance industry, the PMA, etc., were things that I was on the right track, but I just hadn't honed it close enough. Very quickly then I started to read, and just read manic amounts of books, and you can see here that I've got The Secret, I bought the DVD, I bought the CDs for my car. I've got a calendar downstairs which I read every morning. So then I got into people like Jack Canfield, Anthony Robbins, anything to do with the law of attraction. As you see here, I've got many books. Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad, and I just read Donald Trump. Anything that I could get my hands on, I read, and I started to feed my mind. I also then started doing vision boards. This is my very first vision board that I did way back then, and as you can see, because I was with Lily at the time, I was travelling backwards and forwards to LA to spend time with her, and she would come to England as well. And I got into the vision board thing, and you know, it worked, because I had Vegas on there, which I went back to very quickly after that. I wanted to watch UFC live. I spent lots of time with Lily, and you know, a lot of the things that I put on my very first vision board, I achieved very quickly, and it was something that I've now done ever since. I very quickly then got into other programs, just anything to help my mind and help me create the wealth that I wanted to. And this was a product that I bought, Subliminal Power. And if you haven't seen it before, I'll put a link somewhere on the site at the end, just to, if you're interested, to have a look. This is the CD. I bought the downloadable copy, and I bought the CD as well, so that just in case it got wiped off my hard drive, I wanted to have it for any computer I ever owned. And basically what it does, it will just flash up subliminal messages on your screen that they're so quick that you can't consciously read them, but it helps your subconscious to overcome any blocks that you may have, whether it's to do with money, or whether it's to do with anything in your life that you may be blocking. Subconsciously, this will help you overcome that. And I was really into the internet world now, and then I started researching more on Andrew Reynolds, and I googled Andrew Reynolds, which everyone does, and I actually stumbled across this gentleman here by accident, because it put a link, something to do with Andrew Reynolds, and I then met Stuart Ross, who I quickly looked at and did my due diligence with, and over the next couple of months spoke to him several times, just checking to make sure that this guy was genuine. Obviously there's a lot of scams out there on the internet, and I wanted to make sure that what I was learning was the right things. And I found this in my drawer as well. Before I joined Stuart, I found this, and this was something that Bob Proctor gave out at the seminar in 2007, back then in Bournemouth. And it was a little card that you put in your wallet, and you put what you wanted on there. So for me, this is my exact one that I wrote in 2007, 13th of May 2007, and I'm so happy and grateful now that I've escaped the rat race and have freedom to do what I want when I want. And this really prompted me to get involved with Stuart Ross, and I now carry this everywhere in my wallet. And I was very, very, very fortunate enough to be, by the time that came around, 13th of May 2009, I was a full-time internet marketer, and I did what I wanted when I wanted. So as they say, the rest is history. This is me and Stuart at the Your Net Biz Vegas Summit, and I joined Stuart and worked with Stuart and just tried to model him, and to try and reproduce the same results that he had done. And listen, there were ups and downs, and it wasn't smooth sailing. It took me a long time to learn the strategies, and I wasn't someone that was computer literate. It took me a lot of hours and a lot of hard graft really to learn the principles of internet marketing. And please feel free, if you'd like to check out the main business opportunity that I earn my main income from, then do go to startyournetbiztour.com and check it out. This is my very first, it's an old screenshot of my very first Who is Rob Murray website. It probably took me 3 to 4 weeks to build, and it was through a company called Vistaprint at the time, and it was very basic. It was okay, it did the job, but it made me sales, so it helped me get my belief in internet marketing, and it was just something that I thoroughly enjoyed. I loved working at home, I loved being able to get up when I wanted. And from internet marketing, it's helped me now start to travel the world. And these are some of the places I've been in the last 2 years. San Francisco, this is me, I'm just about to cycle across the San Francisco Bridge. It's very, very cloudy here, but as soon as I got to the other side and went down to Sausalito, the sun was out. And this is this year with some of the Your Net Biz gang, this is Forrest and Chris Beasley and some girl down in Old Vegas, and this is me in Barbados on a beautiful beach with the guys in Colorado. We played golf on this beautiful golf course with the Colorado mountains behind, and I think if I remember, this is a picture of me snorkeling in Mexico. Just some of the things that I enjoy doing. I work hard and I do enjoy to travel, and it's something that really has changed my life. I can now wake up when I want, and I work hard, but it's on my terms. I'm not working for a boss anymore. So just to wrap things up, thanks for listening so far. I wanted to give you a little free gift, and it's just my 6 months to six figures report. And just go across to the website, Time Freedom Secrets, and please feel free to have a look through that and ask any questions. If you'd like to ask questions, drop me an email at robertmurray@googlemail.com. So lastly and not least, I'd like to say thanks for taking the time out to see who I am and where I've come from. And I'd just like to leave you this. It's something that is a free download on The Secret website, which is www.thesecret.tv, and it's something that's on my wall, and I do read it on a regular occasion. So please feel free, have a read of this and have a great day.